Hudson County View live at Uncut. I'm your host, where what you see is what you get and what you don't is better yet. John Arhitis, talking the latest and greatest in Hudson County news as we do every week. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about what happened last Tuesday. We already talked about the results, the winners and losers, etc. But important to note, if you haven't seen already, that the Bayonne municipal elections have been certified and no runoffs for Mayor Jimmy Davis and his council slate. So a clean sweep for the third time in a row, a tough feat to achieve for sure. So we're going to talk a little about that, I'm sure. We're also going to talk about the latest controversy involving this Story Dispensary in Hoboken. They went before the Hudson County Planning Board and they got approved unanimously. So we're going to tell you what that 4.5-hour hearing looked and sounded like. We're also going to talk about the Hoboken City Council meeting last night, which was, not particularly brief either. That was about 3.5 hours. And actually, they talked about cannabis quite a bit. They approved a couple things about legal cannabis dispensaries, and they also talked about a redevelopment zone near the police station. So we're going to tell you what that all means. We're also going to talk about this sinkhole in Jersey City that's shut down Sip Avenue for a good portion of the day. I believe that was Tuesday. And actually, on that note, talking infrastructure in South Hudson, we had 3 water main breaks in less than 24 hours at Hoboken. So we're going to talk about that as well. And as you guys are well aware, as I've talked about for a couple weeks at least, the 8th District Congressional debate is going to be tomorrow right here at Hudson Media Group at 6 p.m. And actually completing our series of interviews with the candidate today, I'm joined with Ane Roseborough-Eberhard. So we're going to discuss all that and hopefully a whole lot more right after this word from our sponsors.
Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, Jersey City. Hudson County's only monument maker, serving all faiths and cemeteries. Design, studio, and large inventory on site. Cemetery inscriptions and custom orders welcome. Burns Brothers Memorials, Monuments, and Markers, 787 Tunley Avenue, just south of Secaucus Road. Craftsmanship that will last for all eternity. Burns Brothers, Jersey City, Albert H. Hopper, North Arlington. Visit us on the net. Consumer Carpets, 3408 Kennedy Boulevard in the Jersey City Heights, your one-stop store for residential and commercial floor treatments, carpeting, linoleum, tiles, laminates, hardwood floors, area rugs, remnants, all major brands, all in stock. Free estimates, same-day installation. Consumer Carpets, it's savings, selection, installation. Credit cards and debit cards accepted. Financing available. Consumer Carpets, price to fit your budget, installation to fit your schedule. On the net at consumercarpets.com. Consumer Carpets, Jersey City, 201-792-2712.
Hudson County View live at Uncut. John Arhitis. As I just said a few moments ago, today I'm joined with 8th District Congressional candidate Ane Roseborough-Eberhard. Ane, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me, John. Really appreciate the invitation and look forward to chatting with you.
Excellent. So look, as we talked about quite a bit at the candidate forum, obviously a lot of people are acting like this is a done deal. Rob Menendez got a lot of endorsements, got a lot of money, has high name ID. So what's your plan to overcome that here down the home stretch?
Well, I'm just going to continue to keep on doing what I'm doing. Rob Menendez, you're right, he did get all the endorsements. Even my own union, the NJEA, endorsed him. A little hurtful for me, but they said that they feel as though he is the candidate that can win the race. So I'm going to continue to do what I'm doing, really thinking about my policies, speaking to people, making sure that I am connecting with the constituents in this district, because my plan is to win, and then I will be able to represent them and their interests in Congress. Okay.
Now, when I talk to people that are supporting David Ocampo, they say, well, look, he has grassroots support and he has some quality endorsements and he raised a little money like Bernie Sanders style. So, do you feel that the fact that you haven't got any high profile endorsements, you haven't opened that FEC account, do you feel like that kind of handicaps you in any way?
Well, so I have opened the FEC account. So that is opened. However, my strategy is to do the opposite of what my competitors are doing. I am not going to get, as we've seen now, I am not going to get the endorsements of the unions. I'm not going to be able to raise $1 million. So I have to really use my creativeness in order to, stand out. And so as we canvass with my very small team of people are saying, oh, I already voted for you. Oh, I've seen you. Oh, yeah, I like what you're doing. You're an educator. I've seen that you lived in different places. I see that you're a commissioner on the Amistad. I see that you've done all these different things. And, and just being an educator is a big deal for a lot of teachers. We need people in Congress who know the history of this country in order to create legislation that lets the country move forward.
Okay, so now you mentioned being an Amistad commissioner. You know, we all seen this written, at least those of us following the race have seen this written a whole bunch of times, but I don't think a lot of people know exactly what that is. So can you explain what that role is like?
Absolutely. So the state of New Jersey for education is top notch. This state, the Department of Education, ensures that every student in this state is given a 360-degree lesson in history, which means that they are taught the various stories of the people who live in this country. So with the Amistad law that was created in 2002 by Assemblyman Bill Payne and Craig Stanley, and that law basically says that Black history has to be infused into the teaching of U.S. history. That's it. It's just share the stories. When you tell the story of America, it is crucial that you tell the story of the role that Black Americans played from day one, from the founding of this country. Revolutionary War, War of 1812, of course, Civil War, Spanish-American War, World Wars, Korean War, et cetera, et cetera. So Black Americans have been here, and our stories have to be told. And it's just telling the truth. And so in just adding to that, New Jersey has the LGBTQ law. We have the Asian law as well. We have the Hispanic law. We have the Holocaust law. We have the climate law as well. Like, these are things that teachers have to teach as part of their curriculum. And that is an incredible thing, because a lot of states don't. As we see what's going on, Texas, Florida, you know, you have parents just, you know, panicking over the truth being taught. So feel lucky to live here and have this great education system.
Great. Well, I'm glad that you made that segue, actually, because, yeah, when we're talking the New Jersey Department of Education and we're talking, you know, just the Garden State in general, a lot of people in an uproar, particularly from the right, when we're talking about sexual education and this new program that's going to be implemented starting in September. So when you're looking at this objectively, how do you see this, and, like, what do you think of the criticisms of this program?
Well, so there are resources that the state is using from different platforms. So I think one of the resources that people are like, oh, look at this, is I think it's Purple and Blue or something. And it's just a resource that teachers can use. And it's not formulated as of yet, but it's a resource. So whenever you're doing any legislation, what's a smart thing to do? To get resources and build the legislation from the resources that are available to you. So parents panicking over something that's not even there yet is, you know, it's a little sad, but that is the things that the Republican Party is doing now. They're getting people all riled up over things that they shouldn't be getting riled up about. And that's like part of their strategy, and it's actually very sad. It is very, very sad. Students out of all ages, you know, younger age, older age, teachers know how to teach. Teachers know how to do their job. Teachers aren't going to teach things that are inappropriate to kids, to kindergartens and first graders. For example, I was out campaigning in a town. I won't say the name because the town is fabulous, but I was out campaigning and I go up to a woman and her son and I said, hi, I'm Ane Roseborough-Eberhard. I'm running for Congress. And she was like, what do you think about critical race theory and the sex education law for kindergartners? I'm like, what? I said, the state of New Jersey does not, I said, critical race theory is a legal term. The state of New Jersey doesn't. And then she stopped me and she said, the sex education for kindergartens. I said, what? I said, no, it's. So she was so riled up and so attacking me over something that she obviously has gotten the wrong information about. So we need people who know what they're doing, who can calm people down and say, listen, just think back to when you were in school. If you ever had a project to do for anything, you researched it and you used various resources. And the resources that she's referring to is on the DOE site, and it's a resource.
Got it.
Yeah.
Ane, we're just going to take a quick word from our sponsors. We'll be right back.
Stevens Jersey City Ford Certified Parts and Service, located at Route 440 and Communipaw Ave, is your #1 source for Ford and Lincoln automotive needs. We use certified Ford Motorcraft products to keep your Ford running in top shape. Motorcraft parts are backed with the Ford warranty, which includes a 2-year unlimited mileage guarantee. Our team will have the right Motorcraft part to ensure the best performance from your Ford or Lincoln. You can order in person at the parts counter or online. Let us help keep your Ford or Lincoln in the best shape at Stevens Jersey City Ford.
Good Friend Self Storage in North Bergen, New Jersey is a fully climate-controlled facility equipped with state-of-the-art security, packing supplies, a Refer Friend program, and multiple loading docks convenient for commercial use. Located just off of Route 3 at 4301 Tunnelly Avenue, Route 1 and 9. Call 201-867-2444 or visit us on the web today. Good Friend Self-Storage. Let us be your good friend.
Newport, the luxury waterfront community on the Hudson River, offers a quality of life you deserve in one of our many high-rise towers. With amenities such as the on-site Newport Path, light rail, Newport Town Square, 3 playgrounds, dog run, upscale restaurants, retail giants like Kohl's, JCPenney, Macy's, and Target. Morton Williams and Acme Supermarket are just outside your front door. A health and fitness center, skating rink, and medical facilities are also on site. Enjoy the New York skyline from our waterfront and various parks. Manhattan is just one pass stop away, or quick ride through the Holland Tunnel. Nursery and private elementary schools all on site. 12-screen movie theater at the Newport Center Mall. Looking to visit? Stay at the Westin or Marriott Hotel. For more information, visit us at newportnj.com. Make lasting memories to cherish forever. It's incredible. It's you, Newport. Live like you want.
Hudson County View live on Uncut. John Arhitis, and I'm still here with 8th District Congressional candidate Ane Roseborough-Eberhard. So let's get into a little policy. And obviously, there's 2 big things that are on everyone's mind when we're talking about what's happening in D.C. Of course, we're talking about gun control and Roe v. Wade. So I know that when this draft decision came out from the Supreme Court, obviously, I know you responded on Twitter, but it was pretty brief. So I just wanted to hear your full thoughts on the draft and its implications of the possibility of Roe v. Wade being overturned and what you would do in Congress to try to, articulate this position.
Okay, so my tweet basically said it, my body, my choice. Now, in saying that, it is crucial that women have a choice to get an abortion or to not get an abortion. That is really what this is about. Congress has to put forth legislation to codify Roe v. Wade. Now, every year, every session, this is the 117th session, if it doesn't pass, you can try again the next time. You can keep on trying, and they can never not try. They've got to keep on trying. And Roe versus Wade, 1973, we had a time when the Democrats controlled the Senate and the House, and we had a president. It's important that when that opportunity arises, again, and it will, that programs, policies that are good for the American people get passed. And so what I would do is, if there's a Democrat that already has more any laws or bills regarding women having the right to choose what to do with their own bodies, I will co-sponsor, I will draft if there is not anything, but it needs to happen, it needs to be codified as soon as possible. Because this Supreme Court is taking a turn that I think, some of us thought it was gonna happen, but some people were like, oh, but they said that they wouldn't do anything against precedent. But let's be real, I had a sneaky suspicion that they would do exactly what they're doing now.
So they tried to codify, that's Congress, of course. I believe it was just last month. It might have even been early this month. And, obviously they were unsuccessful.
Right.
So, a lot of people are calling a red wave in November, quote unquote, across the country. So, that would make what you're saying extremely difficult to do, right? It would.
If the red wave happens. So in Pennsylvania and with the primary elections, the Trump-backed candidates did not win. So that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
Well, they're still counting, but yes, it's not looking good for them at this moment.
It's not looking good, and I think that maybe we're at a turn now. Maybe we're at a shift. So we'll see. We'll see. Time will tell. But that's why it's important to have people like me in Congress who have these various experiences, who support institutions that really keep us all safe, that support clean environments, green environments, but also supporting the Army, the police force as well, because it's a safety issue as well, right? We all want to be safe in our communities. And based on what Russia has done in the Ukraine, I want to be able to sleep at night knowing that our military is well funded and protecting us.
Fair enough. So about that point that I made earlier, gun control. So yeah, I mean, this past weekend was, a really sad weekend for our nation, right? I mean, 3 mass shootings, one not terribly far away in Buffalo, and that's already been labeled a domestic terrorist event, already been labeled, a hate crime. So, when we talk about this, we have to talk about gun control. What would you do about this if elected to the House?
Well, the first thing I would do as a history teacher and as a person who has a master's in American history, I would just stress, and I'm going to just say stress again, to the people that always go back to Second Amendment. When the Second Amendment was written, we had a musket. To fire a musket, muskets were very inaccurate. They were this big, there was one bullet, and the reason that it was there was, the reason that the founding fathers thought to put this in there was to protect us against the British. We were in a war situation, kicking out our colonizers. The gun technology has changed tremendously. It's no longer a musket. Actually, I saw like an animation of somebody with a musket of how they would have to shoot. It's just a disaster. Like, it's not what these machine guns are doing today. So I would really try to work with those people who are still like, nothing can change with gun. There needs to be laws that, number one, that address who is selling these guns. Why you should have to go through hoops and barrels in order to sell a gun, first of all. Number two, background checks. Background checks need to be extensive on the person who is selling the guns and on the person who is buying the guns. And that needs to be at the federal level. Congress needs to codify laws to make those things a reality. Because guns, it's out of control. And it is so sad to me that this young man was able to go in, buy this gun, and the gun shop owner said that he was like, I thought he was hunting deer or whatever he said. But if you're hunting deer, do you really need an automatic weapon to kill deer?
Understood. Ane, so we're at time, but look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. And ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in, but we're not done yet. We'll be back right after these messages.
Introducing the all-new Ford Maverick. A truck for people who do stuff. And people who make stuff. People like Gabrielle Union.
I make this look good, don't I?
Who haul whatever they want to wherever they want. Like wood to build things made of wood with. And friends to get weird with. It's for long trips that the standard hybrid engine with a targeted EPA estimated city fuel economy rating of 40 miles per gallon helps with. That an 8-inch touchscreen connects with. And any trip that this interior makes more comfortable. But we'll let Gabrielle tell you all about it.
Or I could just tell them it's a Ford truck that starts at less than $20,000 MSRP.
Yep, that works too. The all-new Ford Maverick, built to defy expectations.
Panepinto Properties, Jersey City, shaping the workplace with state-of-the-art office spaces and addresses your company desires. Building residences that define your home environment, adjacent to all modes of transportation with on-site parking available. The right address, the right lease. Call 201-521-9000 or visit online at panepintodevelopment.com. Panepinto Properties, building Jersey City for everyone.
Not everyone celebrates the birth of a baby. You have options. Don't panic. New Jersey has safe havens for unwanted infants. Leave the baby with staff at any hospital, ER, police or fire station, or rescue squad. Call the number on your screen for safe haven locations or go to www.njsafehaven.org. No shame, no blame, no names. Safe Haven.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John R. Highness. So let's talk about this Hudson County Planning Board meeting. So I don't know that I've ever talked about a Hudson County Planning Board meeting, but here we are. And, this took place that was Monday night, actually. And this was the Story Dispensary. So as we talked about on this program last week, and as you know, there's a pending lawsuit by 5153, that's Hudson Place Condo Association. 5153 14th Street Condo Association Incorporated, and they're suing all the principals of dispensary, which includes the Jersey City mayor's wife, Jacqueline, her business partner, pretty much anyone that's put their name on any paperwork associated with the dispensary, right? Now, the interesting thing about the Hudson County Planning Board is that when they hear a project, regardless if it's a dispensary, a condominium, whatever it might be, food store, the bottom line is they're only interested in traffic because being the county entity, the county land use board, their interest is in the county thoroughfares, which means the county roads, of course. So anyway, with all that said, look, it was a very long hearing. Again, 4.5 hours on one agenda item, just unheard of. I would bet you they didn't spend 4.5 hours total in their meetings this year leading up to this one, but that's where we ended up. So we heard from William Masal. He was the traffic engineer for Story Dispensary, and basically he was citing this traffic report that said that they didn't think there was going to be drastic changes to this area, despite that there was public transport. The ferry's not too far away, the path also not particularly far away, not right next door either. And, there was concerns about residents that we talked about before. They're worried that people are going to, smoke a blunt, have an edible, go to the bars, and it's just going to disrupt the quality of life. Obviously, Story was there to try to plead their case. That's not going to be what's going to happen, right? So, again, though, this is mostly limited to traffic, but we heard from Martin Cabellar, who's counsel for the Condo Association in that lawsuit I just mentioned, and he pointed out that no one actually visited the property and no one actually conducted any studies at that location when it was the Hudson Tavern or after it was sold. And he also talked about trip analyses, based on the ITE manual. And, they had a lot of technical conversations on this. But I think one thing that we could all understand here is that I think the community feels the intensity of use is being misrepresented. If you had used a quality restaurant, would that have resulted in lower counts, the same counts? Questioned Hoboken Second Ward Councilwoman Tiffany Fisher. No secret to you guys, she's been very outspoken against this project. And Masal responded, I don't know what those trip generation rates are. So an interesting exchange for sure. And she said most people in this area would disagree with you, so on and so forth. I mean, it's like I said, quite a bit to it. At the end of the day, let's just cut to the chase. It was approved 7-0. 2 people recused themselves. That's Commissioners Floyd Jeter, a Jersey City employee, and Jerry Walker, who's a county commissioner, of course, but his nonprofit Team Walker receives city funding. So they both decided to recuse. And John Allen, who's assistant corporation counsel for the city of Hoboken and a close ally of Mayor Bala, returned some fire to Second Ward Councilwoman. He said, I understand the Second Ward Councilperson regrets not paying closer attention to it despite voting for it multiple times, talking about zoning for cannabis. By virtue of the City Council's adoption of this ordinance and because of the jurisdictional limits of this board, based on the testimony, I will be voting yes. I'm proud to say yes in my backyard. So, not quite as exciting, but it's certainly worth noting that at the council meeting last night in the Mile Square City, they now said if you're a medical cannabis dispensary, you have to now have a 12-month wait period before you could sell recreational cannabis. So obviously that's a significant change, though it's not completely out of the blue. This was spurred by the NJ Cannabis Regulatory Commission's policy, and they're just following suit essentially. Not really surprising, at their earlier meeting this month, they approved it. It was a close vote, 5-4, but that's how most of the close votes are these days, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing, which I thought was kind of interesting, was expanding the Cannabis Review Board from 3 members to 7 has been approved. So right now you got the council president, Mike Russo, serving as the chair of that board. He's joined by the business administrator, Jason Freeman, as well as the director of Health and Human Services, that's Leo Pellegrini, and that's it. That's the entire board. So obviously there were some people that were not too happy with the representation, and they thought that there should be more voices, and that's what we're going to get. You're going to get 2 people appointed by the mayor, 2 people appointed by the council, and they're all going to serve 2-year terms. So the interesting part is that Councilwoman Fisher introduced this at the meeting earlier this month, and it got voted down. And, lo and behold, it passes unanimously last night. So we're going to take one more break. We'll be right back.
This thing rips! Oh, it is so quick. There's a lot of punch packed into this Bronco Sport. It's got a ton of horsepower. I love it. All right, now we're getting hairy. Now we're getting the fun stuff. Yeah. I like how we can get over or around almost anything.
Yeah, I dig your ride. I'm super digging it. It's gonna be a good day.
Hey all, just a quick update here with the sewer line collapse on Sip Avenue. As you can see, they have come in with the dirt to do a backfill. What's going to be happening is they're going to be putting a metal box into the hole to secure it and stabilize it. Then they're going to put in the dirt, then they're going to put a plate over it. Also in anticipation of the rain that's going to be coming later this evening, so please again avoid the area. Currently there are no water lines that have been affected by this collapse. This is a sewer line collapse, but I know I've gotten a couple questions about that. However, in case there is another problem later on down this line this afternoon, the MUA and Suez is prepared for that. They have water bags and bottles at the ready to send out to residents in the area. Again, this is on Sip Avenue at Hawthorne, so please avoid the area and stay safe. And if there are any other updates, I will share that with you all later.
Hudson County View live at Uncut, John Arhitis. So, yeah, that's not much I could add to that, right? I mean, this sinkhole that occurred between Bryant and Hawthorne Avenue is kind of infamous already. Quite a few viral videos, including the one I just showed you. That was, of course, courtesy of Ward B Councilwoman Mira Prinzari. Have been circulating on Facebook and Twitter, and just a really crazy turn of events. I mean, I don't think anyone really saw that coming. At least I hope they did, because they probably should have done something sooner. But yeah, I mean, just really, really wild stuff. Fortunately, no injuries, no disruption of water service, and repairs went as smoothly as you could hope. So that's usually way more time than we'd ever spend talking about infrastructure, unless it was a big development project. But like I said at the top of the program, you got 3 water main breaks in Hoboken in 24 hours, which, water main breaks are not particularly uncommon in Hoboken, but, at that frequency, that's just unheard of. So the first one was in the 4th Ward, and that was actually a 6-inch water main break on 1st and Jefferson Streets. And that led to the surrounding area being closed for about 13 hours until emergency repairs were completed. And the break actually exposed the connector pipe from 1890, which, wow, I mean, who would have thought that something over a century old would still be in the ground over there? But that's exactly what you have. And by basically, I think you could call that a miracle. There was no disruption of water service. Now, having said that, I think a lot of people in the Mile Square woke up today finding out. This is a tweet from Suez Water. Crews are conducting emergency repairs on a 12-inch water main break on Madison between 1st and 3rd Streets, as well as a 16-inch break on 2nd between Monroe and Jefferson. Residents and businesses in that vicinity may experience a loss in water pressure and/or service while work is underway. And, this was already at 6:40 a.m., and it looked like the first break came at about 2:20 a.m., so just a terrible stretch for the Mile Square here. And residents impacted by the emergency repairs could get water at 123 Madison Street. And I'm sure if your car was moved, you've already taken care of it. But on the off chance, you've been at work or had, some other commitment, they were relocated to 13th and Adams Streets without any charge to the car owners so that the emergency repairs could begin right away. So we're going to cut it there, folks. Thanks for tuning in. As I mentioned a couple times, remember, the one and only 8th District Congressional Debate is going to take place right here, Hudson Media Group, tomorrow. That's May 20th, Friday. And all 3 candidates have agreed to debate. I will be moderating, and we're going to stream live on all of our regular platforms, just as we're doing now. So thanks so much for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow.